You're listening to RazorCast, USA's hottest podcast, bringing you cutting-edge interviews from leading industry professionals.
Hello, everyone. This is Liz Harvey coming to you from our RazorCast studios in New York City, where we are dedicated to bringing you top-quality advice from many of the leading expert professionals across the U.S. In today's episode, we are speaking with Dr. Anthony Manzella. Dr. Manzella is the Director of Physical Therapy at Ferraro Spine and Rehabilitation, which is a multi-specialty wellness facility serving northern New Jersey and the New York metro area for the past 18 years. Dr. Anthony Manzella is a graduate of the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey. He developed his passion for health and wellness by training and conditioning some of the area's most successful middle school, high school, and college athletes. Dr. Manzella is a performance enhancement specialist, and he routinely works with athletes as well as patients going through rehabilitation. Dr. Manzella is widely considered to be one of the top doctors of physical therapy in the country, and he is also a contributing member of our national network of industry professionals. Today we are going to talk about a very important topic: combating health in the digital age, the risks of sitting, and inactivity that makes us unhealthy. Hi, Dr. Manzella. How are you today?
Hi, Liz. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks so much for being here. And
I appreciate the call.
Thanks so much. Our first question, the digital age has brought information and entertainment right into our laps. People do not have to leave their house to do their job, go to college, or even be entertained. What risk factors do people face from inactivity, from sitting too long in front of electronic devices and not exercising?
Well, that's a great question. Our jobs and life has really changed over the last 100 years, and with convenience comes at a cost. Our body is really biologically designed to move. All organ systems, your cells, everything requires movement. So when we're not moving and we're inactive, things start to go wrong. So that puts us at risk for a variety of different things. One being cardiovascular system issues such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol. You're also at risk for obesity. There's also mental issues with depression and anxiety. We're also at risk for certain types of cancer such as lung, uterine, colon, breast cancer. And really where I kind of fit into the mold is I see this every day is patients developing orthopedic injuries such as lower back, neck, shoulder, hip injuries are the primary ones we see in the office. And, I probably see about 8 out of 10 patients that we see are, in some way or shape or form has to do with inactivity, whether it's a job where they sit all day or they're a truck driver or a student that's sitting at a chair and a desk all day. We're just very inactive these days. So we really need to find ways that we can become more active and less sedentary.
Okay, and besides general health risks, have you seen specific injuries in people from too much inactivity?
Yes, and the biggest one we see in our practice is primarily spine-related issues such as disc herniations or degeneration. And really it has to do with compression. See, when you sit still for a long period of time, the weight of your kind of upper body and spine and head and upper extremities kind of compressing down through your pelvis into a chair creates almost, it's like squeezing a piece of fruit and squeezing all the water and juice out of the fruit. The discs between our spinal segments are like sponges. So without movement, there's no water that kind of goes in and out of the area. So they begin to degenerate, and sometimes if they're squeezed too long, they start to herniate, meaning the kind of inner part of the disc starts to protrude outward and to compress onto the nerves that go out to the extremities and can cause radiating pain either down the legs or down the arms.
Okay, and you mentioned the risks of working at a desk all day. So how can people eliminate some of the risks associated with this type of inactivity, working in front of a computer or a screen all day?
I'm glad that you asked that, because many patients ask us this question, and the real key to it is that we have to work. We need to pay the bills. We need to have a living, and we need to study to learn. So it requires us to sit and be still for extended period of times. But what we can do is just get up regularly. So if you're sitting for 10, 15 minutes, get up, walk around, stand up, stretch. Just try to change positions as frequently as you can. So, sit back, recline on your bed if you're on your laptop. Stand up, put the computer up on a higher surface so you can stand and change position. The other thing is when you're forced to sit. So we have, many patients that are, say, a secretary where you have to sit for an extended period of time, and they can't really get up and move around every 15 minutes. What you can do is create a pumping action in and out of the different areas of your body that are kind of stagnant and compressed from sitting still. So you can do what's called an isometric contraction, and it's basically like a squeeze, like you're squeezing your muscles. So you can do that like a 10-second squeeze, such as squeezing your glutes or squeezing your tush for about 10 seconds or so, and just do that repeatedly to just create a little bit of muscle activation, a little pumping action, because muscles kind of act like pumps throughout your body, so they can pump fluid, pump blood flow and nutrients to the various cells, and that will help kind of offset that kind of static stress that happens when we sit still. The other thing you can do is simply stretch at your desk. If you're sitting at your chair, you can kind of bend forward towards your toes. You can kind of reach one arm up and kind of lift to the side. You can rotate in your seat. You can bring one leg up and cross it and alternate that, I recommend. So just doing simple things like that can make a tremendous difference. And I guess the one thing that people should maybe look into is investing in either a standing, or they even have treadmill desks that you can set up a treadmill underneath a higher level desk, so you can walk at a very slow speed, and you can actually, it has a calorie burning and weight loss effect too, if you are forced to be at a computer, at a desk for an extended period of time.
All right. And do you have any advice for parents of kids who love to sit and play video games?
I get this question a lot. I like to think back when I was a kid. When I was a kid, my mom used to kick me out of the house and say, "Go play." And if I came back too early, they would say, "No, it's not 5 o'clock yet." So, I grew up in a lake community where I was out on the lake. I'd be boating, I'd be swimming, I'd be riding my bike everywhere. And it just seems like these days kids are a lot more sedentary, and they're playing video games, they're on iPads, they're on computers, and really kids just need to be more active. So the first advice I'd give is just to be an example, for your kids. My father was into martial arts. He was a very active guy. So I've kind of followed his lead, just seeing him kind of being active and working out on a daily basis. So if you're an example, it will show. It may not reflect right away into your children, but later on it will. The other thing is just to get them outside, like my parents did. Set an environment for them to play outside, and also to limit their time, limit their exposure to using the computer and their cell phones. Limit to a certain period of time or a certain time of day, especially when if it's a beautiful day out, get the kid outside and limit the computer time to later on in the day where it's dark out and they need to be indoors. The other thing is to schedule active play or participate in different community activities and sports. Those are perfect activities for them. And the other thing is to kind of get involved, and something that I've recently found out about is there are some different communities around the nation that are now providing kids with standing desks, and that allows them to focus better in school, to get out that excess energy, I think it could be very powerful in terms of challenging obesity, and really something you can get involved with is that, and you could find out more information. There's a website. It's called standupkids.org. You could find out more information on that. And the other thing is, if you're not sure of where to start your child, you can always seek the advice of a professional. Seek out your local physical therapist. If you're in the New Jersey, New York area, seek out me. I'd be happy to kind of get you on the right path and get your child moving in the right direction.
Okay, well, I'll have to check out standupkids.org for sure. And lastly, if someone has a very sedentary lifestyle and wants to become more active, what do you suggest they do to get started?
Just get educated. There's a ton of information out there on the internet, some of which is good, some of which is bad. But finding like a professional in your community that you can trust is probably the best thing that you can do. And physical therapists are usually some of the best people to discuss this with, to seek advice from. The therapist can screen either you or your child, determine your risk for injury, and it's better to kind of jump on things before they become big issues. So if you have a little bit of an ache or pain, it's better to kind of take care of it early. It's unfortunate, but we see so many injuries that have been with someone for years and they haven't taken care of it. So kind of getting a jump on things early on would be very good. So I think definitely seeking out a skilled exercise physiologist, physical therapist would be the best place to start. Get educated on what steps you can take to get more active and start feeling better.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Manzella.
Oh, my pleasure.
And we know you're really busy, so we just want to thank you for your time. And for our listeners across the country, if you are interested in speaking with Dr. Anthony Manzella, you can either go online to www.ferrarospine.com or call 973-478-2212 to schedule an appointment. And on behalf of our entire team at Razorcast, we want to thank you for listening, and we look forward to bringing you more top-quality content from our country's leading industry professionals.
You've been listening to Razorcast, USA's hottest podcast, bringing you cutting-edge interviews from leading industry professionals.